Hello and welcome back to another Demis Hellen tutorial. We are going to take a look at creating a trance riff, so just something fairly simple so you can get the idea and then you can develop your own ideas into your future tracks. So this, if we just hit record, we're just going to record this riff that I've come up with and then we will start to build on it. So here we go. Okay, so that is the trance riff, and we're not going to play it just like that. We're going to have these two parts like that, and then the last one longer. It was just so I could get the feel of the track. So do that, shorten the notes down, and we'll just make everything unified in terms of volume. So we have this. Let's just drag this to here. Okay, so let's just sort that last bit out there. In fact, I know how it was played. Let's just save time and drag this over here. So the bass went to there, and they went to there. Okay, so now we have that trance riff, we can start developing the usual stuff like creating the bass, so just take the bass notes, offset them a little bit. And what we can do is with those ones, we can still see there are some gaps in the melodic sequence, so let's have that one there. And we can just have that gap there. So we've got all these usual tricks, and we can make everything sound beautiful. So let's just chop the filter out a little bit. I don't think we can do it with those ones on this preset. So we'll just filter it here. Okay, so we have roughly a sound that we like, and we have a melodic riff. So we're going to copy that over and go to the second version. So we've always got that initial version there to go back to. Right, so let's create some chords so we can see what key we're working in here. All right, and we're just going to use that key details. Now, if you're not familiar with keys and chord structure and things, head over to chords-scales.com. I'll put the link in the description below as usual, and that is the go-to place to work out scales. So if you've played a riff, you can type in the notes that you've used, and then it'll tell you what the scale is likely to be, and then what chords will work with that. So we're going to make a 3-note chord, and we're going to follow the triad rule. So that is the first one there, second one there, that is going to go to C. So it's sounding a little bit cheesy, so that's just sounding. So you can hear that everything's sounding a little bit off there. So bring that back, and we're just going to copy the first part. So let's have this dun dun dun, and we'll have that go up to the C, and then these ones we can do independently. So again, from here we'll go to here, and let's just check everything looks right. This one can go up to the sharp or the flattened E, and again straight to there, and we have that chord to there, that's probably going to be here again, so let's listen. Okay, so there we have an idea, and then you can start moving it around. So let's say we want the root note to be, say, B. You can give different tonal qualities to your track. We could try E. But we started on F here. So there's all those different things that you can do there. And that is just one melodic sequence that you can do. Let's record another one just for a laugh. So let's pick... Right, we'll pick something and I'll just record it here, so we'll be back in a second. So here we have our melody, so I'm just going to neaten this up a little bit. We're going to fix the lens, we're going to quantize it a little bit. That's off center, this is in the wrong place. Everything else looks okay there. Okay, I'm going to make everything unified as last time. I'm just going to double that bass there. And we'll have that rise to there, and probably have that fall to there. That sounds a little bit cheesy. So there we are. We have our 2-note chord, which is just split over octaves. So instead of playing the chord here, I'm just putting that second note, that first note, should we say, in the bass. So originally your chord would have looked like this. Okay, so with that in mind, let's throw this, undo that, copy, paste, and then we can throw that up an octave there. And we have our chord there. And what we can do with this, obviously these notes are going to have to make a chord there, so we'll do that. From here, then you can develop your chord to make a riff, and if, again, we copy that over, work on the second iteration of this, let's make a little bit of a riff out of this. So let's delete those. And there we are. You've got your first riff. We're just using the original bass note positions, and then this section could just be like that to incorporate all the bass, and then suddenly we have this. So I don't particularly like this end part here, but let's have a listen to what it sounds like if we do the same thing again here with these ones. So move them over, copy them into the gaps. It's starting to sound okay. I technically wouldn't do that exactly, but let's just continue that theme across onto there, and then finally let's get rid of those and those, and we'll have that as our end riff, and then copy these into the gaps. Then we have this melody. Alright, so nothing too drastic, but we've made a riff or an arpeggio straight away from that. There are other things, just experiment is all I can say. Take away the first note, we could have a riff like this. Let's get rid of the... In fact, we'll just put the bass note over here for now. Okay, and then we can just fill the gaps in here. So suddenly you get a whole different feel to your track there. Put that down an octave. So you get more of the kind of step-by-step sound. Or to make it sound a little bit more complex, keep them close together. So you get a little bit more of a faster pace. Sounds a lot slower when it's down one octave. That gives it a faster pace. There's so many things that you can do with things like this. And then you could probably just mimic a rolling bass in the bottom, and we're just going to literally do a rolling bass here. can get a good idea of what your track is going to sound like. And again, from here you can make the chords. So the original chord was the C and the E flat. So let's take these, let's put the E flat there, and then this one technically would be a G. So you start to create more complex rhythms. So you're starting to create something that you otherwise wouldn't play on a keyboard yourself or try to note in, but it gives you a little bit more of a complex sound. And it all does depend on the sound you're working with. So technically this lead sound might not be the best. Let's go into plucks. So you get a different feel from each one. And you might not want that roll at the end, you might want to continue the pace like that, so you'd have this. So all I'm doing now is going back to the improvisation video. If you haven't seen that, you can see that on the screen now, doing improvising. And we have a C, an E flat and a G, so let's just play those notes. In a different order. And that is how you'd improvise over the top. Now, these are just like really simple things that you can do, especially if you're really struggling to come up with trance riffs and things like that. This really does help. And you can see we've just gone from that simple rhythm there, something sounding a little bit more complex, whereas we had this before. You can add a little bit more texture into your sound. So I'll conclude that video there. I don't want to bombard you with too many ideas in one go. You have two there to go off. We played the first riff, which was this. And then on here, we just change these into chords. And again, we can improvise on the top of that. So if we look at the root note, which is F, let's just start from there. So you can hear the improvisation works really well, just hovering around the F and then using the scale around it. And then finally we had this riff, if we can play the right one. And then we composed an initial idea of using this as a riff, which sounds a little bit weak, but it could be a supporting layer for the same structure, but we came up with this one here, which sounds a little bit more serious. It has a nice tone to it, and again, have a mess around. A bit more improvisation. And that's just playing the three notes from that chord structure there. So I hope you found some of this useful for your trance productions. It's not meant to be something to help you build a massive, amazing track. It's to develop ideas and then further develop other ideas that you might have gone stale on. That is the whole idea here. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below, hit the like button if you haven't already, and finally hit subscribe. 3 videos per week on various topics, including trance. So I'll see you in the next video.